Good morning, good morning, good morning, friends. It's Karen Hines here with Solutions Mix Marketing. It's been a journey, and since May, life has changed for me, and I've started to just look at my life and have decided to do my fight with whatever experiences I want to have. And I've always enjoyed camping. I had an RV, I had a camper, I've had a trailer. My kids are older and are not so much interested, and I just don't have the energy required to upkeep and maintain having those big rigs. So I have a I have a tent, six people can be in that you can stand up in, but also it requires some energy to put together. So I do plan to use that, and I said I'm going to start with experiencing camping using my van. I have a van anyway, and I've been watching some videos. I've gotten a lot of education from so many people that are doing, weekend camping, full-time camping, all these different styles of having their van in such a multi-use fashion. And I'm like, I want to try that. I'm 5'11", and I was a bit skeptical as to how comfortable that would be for me. Again, having the space in a trailer and an RV where you can stand up is very different than making a van work in the same practical fashion aside from standing up, right? So having a place where if there's an emergency and you need to use the washroom at night, and you may not want to walk to, because our camping experience has been at campgrounds, regional campgrounds run by the city that are safe, secure. You go through a gate, you pay to be there, but it is absolutely affordable. It does have amenities, washroom, laundry, gift shop, and things like that. But sometimes when you are, not camping with a big rig or whatever, camp areas where tents are, you got to walk a bit to go to the washroom and so on. And sometimes at night you don't want to do that. So having the van work practically so you can, go pee, having it work where if you are not using, obviously if you're camping in a van, you're not using the tent. So, normally you would be cooking outside, having your kitchen set up, a table and your supplies and so on. Your picnic area usually has a bench. And so if the weather is not great, would you be able to do some cooking in the vehicle? And what kind of cooking too, because it's a small space, so you don't want anything that's too strong to stick, because I have an Odyssey, and it's leather interior, it's beige, so some smells could be absorbed. So I said I'm gonna give it a try. And so, because I've always been camping, I do have supplies on hand, and I decided I'm going to try to make use of what I have versus rushing out to purchase items that I see other people are using, with their setups. And the variety is there, simple setups, more sophisticated setups, setups for, just weekend use, setup that is for more long-term use. Some people do have setups that are permanent, and some, like I said, are for weekend use. Some are just simple use. So if at random they decide to take a trip, they have the basic things that they need, and the rest they can figure out while they're on the road. So I had promised I would be having you join me on the weekend with my setup. I did have a girlfriend that said she was going to start it off with me, and we did this last night, Friday. That would be August 18th, I think. And we didn't go to a campsite. We actually tested this at the parking lot of a 24-hour gym. And so that was an experience. But, as much as she's never done it before, I've had camping experience before, and I've used my van while at a campsite, but not just solely having only the van, right? And she dared herself, and we did it. So I'm gonna show you where her setup, her space was, and how she functioned, and where my space was, and let you know about some things we may or may not do, a second time. So to prepare for the adventure, which I was so sure she was not going to go along with, she was going to back out at the last minute. I was so sure of it, but she didn't. So we did our setup around 11, after 11, and I picked her up. She had her weekend bag packed. I was so proud of her. She was already dressed in her PJs, and she had her to-go cup with her, her tea for the night. And she's a bougie girlfriend, and I knew I had to be sure that the space that she would be using would be somewhat, to her standard. I can rough it just about anywhere, but I like classy too myself, Victorian style. But when you're camping, it's like nature is your focus most times. And so having, your bed from home be a priority is not so much. But anyways, for her first time, or first night doing this, and so she wouldn't be so discouraged, I said, I gotta bring the good sheets from home. So I brought a comforter set that I'll show you, which would have that look and feel of home, and that would provide a little bit of comfort for her. I had some fabric. I've watched several videos, and those work if you're like at a site that's a little bit more private, and you don't necessarily need the window reflectors that some campers use instead of a fabric, because the reflectors are more effective in terms of keeping light from coming in and maintaining temperature, which it's summer now, it really is not a big deal for us here in Canada. But the fabric that I had a lot of it, and it was close to the color of my vehicle. Thank goodness. It's like a greeny beige, and then the inside of the car is beige, so it didn't make it too dark. And so I had just cut, I just wanted it simple, so don't laugh when you see it, but I just cut 4 pieces. I cut a piece for the back, okay, where the back, windshield is. I cut a long piece for the sides, which stems from the back row up to behind the front, up to behind the front seats. And I just used things I had. So I used pins, right? And I used shower hooks. So metal shower hooks I had in, because I've always had them. So in my tool storage, I had, miscellaneous sizes. Most of the sizes were similar. So I looked at the videos that I've seen and the creativity that so many wonderful people have put out there in how they make the back private by putting a curtain drapery system just behind the front seats, and how it just immediately changed the mood of the space, changed the look of the space, which also changed how you feel about the space. It no longer feels like just an open vehicle. Anyone can just look in and you don't feel cozy. Well, having these curtains or these makeshift curtains did that. It immediately changed the mood of the space and the sense of exposure you have at the front when all the windshield and the windows are open and clear and everybody can see you and whatever. With the curtains and you being at the back, once all the lights are off, it gives you a cozy feel, and that was nice. So my girlfriend and I enjoyed that. It made us feel private. I had I had a mini jumper, because I do have a older van, and it was giving problems, and I had sold it, and I came across the identical one that was working, and had picked it up just in the nick of time for this adventure, so that if during the night we're chatting till late and her phone dies, I don't have to turn on the vehicle, get back into the front, turn on the vehicle in order to charge her phone. Excuse me. I had this mini jumper which had a 12-volt plug system, which was perfect because I have a 12-volt surge, which has 2 USB and 2 house 3-prong plugs on it, and I'll show that to you. So it was already charged. I brought an extension cord so that I could provide her with a way to charge her phone if she needed to without being inconvenienced in having to come back to the front, get out of her space, because her space was in the back row and my space was in the middle row. No, I did not remove my seats for anyone that may wonder how that worked out. But I wanted a sense of privacy for my space and a sense of privacy for her space. And we have the van, so we don't have like a toilet like some people in the videos that I've come across may have. But I did have a one of the trash cans from I think it's Dollarama, and she had that, and I just, you know, put bags in it. I've seen a lot of videos where it's really a bucket, but I wasn't gonna go get a bucket. I was just trying to use what I had on hand, because, you know, if things, you know, cost a bit and it was something that was gonna be a fluke and didn't work out and we weren't gonna do it again, depending on where we purchased some of the stuff, we probably wouldn't be able to return it. So it was like, use what we have, see how it works, and then if we like it, we can get the better version of it, right? But first and foremost was to be practical and make it affordable for this first adventure. So she had her trash bucket or toilet system right next to where her sleeping space is, and because the back of my seats gave privacy to her area, I'm not interrupted if she needs to go pee, and I had my own pee system. If I needed to go, I didn't have to interrupt her, and it was next to myself. So I had the middle row, and I moved up the passenger front seat, and I had my you know, what pee system, my own pee system next to me. And what I used was, my car comes with a like a tray under the front passenger seat. It's about 4 to 6 inches high and maybe about 10 inches wide. I'll show it to you. So I put bags in it. I lined it with bags like I did hers. It wasn't as tall as hers, but I said, you know, just for we're gonna just try it. So my plan was, you know, I would use it and just, you know, tie it up and just dump it in the trash, which can be anywhere because it's a small bag and it's a small tray, and it's, you know, small pea. If it's more than one pea, then it would be more than one little bags. So that's what I did for mine, and it made it convenient for me, and it made it convenient for her. It turns out that she didn't drink her tea she had brought, and so she didn't have to use the washroom. I ended up using it twice. So I had 2 bags, and one bag was what I peed in, tied it off, and I had a second bag because when I got up, I brushed my teeth using, you know, bottled water that we had brought, and so I had a second bag that I, you know, did my brushing in, and so I had 2 bags. But like I said, you know, it's the one day, and it was, you know, effective in serving the purpose in which it was set up for. Now, for you know, our sleep space, because we did it so late at night, we already had dinner, so we didn't do any cooking. I did have a cooler in case I was going to bring things, and that cooler served a good purpose because in the back row, the cooler was placed behind the seat of one of the third row, and it, because of the size of the comforter set that was used for the bed setup for my girlfriend, the height of the cooler was perfect as pretty much a bed extension for like her feet. Again, I'm 5'11", she's about maybe 5'9" or so, I think. And so the length, because the bed was set up to obviously sleep across from window to window, and with the wheel well being there, there's the cup trays, like it takes away from the length of space that you have. And also because it's the seat, it's also more narrow versus if, say, like it was a bed setup that was as high as where the windows were, you would get more space, because that would be an additional maybe 4 or so inches. So the cooler made an extension for her feet, and she just made it work. We reclined the back row seats to its maximum, which created a more openness and bed-like feel, for her. And the bedding was really plush, so it provided nice cushioning. No mattress system was, brought into this adventure, but just regular dinner chair cushions. There were, about 3 that I had used to put just on the, where the seat belts would hook into the seats, just putting them down, because they're not very thick, so putting them down before putting down the comforter, so that through the night those wouldn't be like poking her, right? And so I think that worked out, so I'm going to show that to you. And then for my space, I never had any kind of mattress or padding system for my seats. Now, it was comfortable, but it could have been more comfortable. Reason being, the 8th seat in this vehicle, because this is an older model, but it's the, I guess, luxury version. So it has an 8th seat, and that 8th seat created the closure in the middle so that I could sleep across the middle row. The 8th seat is slightly higher than the 2 captain chairs that are in my vehicle. So because I didn't have additional padding on those 2 chairs, there was a little bit of a dip, right? And I had pillows, but even though I had my head elevated, my body had a sinking, like in my torso area. Then it raised up around my hips because the middle seat was in that spot, and then it sunk again where my thighs, leg area would be. But again, because the chairs are comfortable chairs, it wasn't too bad. And so I made it work. I didn't wake up with any back pains. I did through the night find that not having enough stretch room, because I didn't have like that cooler extension that I had for my girlfriend. So my legs kind of curved from my knees and kind of hung a little bit off the end of the, the seat where my legs were. So I think maybe if I had a cooler extension like she did, maybe it would have been a little bit easier on my legs. But other than that, for the one night, it was manageable. Like, it was manageable. So I saw things that if we were to do this again, her and I versus just myself only, I would do an extension for my legs, and I would probably also do maybe a little bit of an extension for my space, because remember the back row reclines, so it gives a larger bed feel where the middle row didn't. So it was more of a narrow space than the back. And so, you kind of had to just sleep on one side and not turn. If I was to turn, I think I would have to flip my head to the other side of the setup to be able to turn, because if not, because it's so narrow, my face would be too close to the back of the chair, and I think that I'd probably suffocate. But I liked it. I think that it was nice. It was like we were like little kids, just up till late talking, and and then we really just did a setup to sleep. When we got up, like I did the brushing, took her home, so we didn't do any cooking with this one, but we actually saw how, if we were to, how it would happen. It would happen in the middle row where I would be, and it would be fine because I saw where I could pack my things up, like my bedding, on one of the chairs, or bring my things to the front seat, or because my girlfriend was up, I could just put my bedding on the back, on her bed setup, and then we could use the other chair at the end for like preparing a breakfast. Now, I've had a butane because of previous camp life, and that would be what we would use to like make some tea in the morning or a light breakfast, just so we're not really cooking for too long to smell the place up. So we saw where that would work, and nothing fancy, just use something to protect the seat, maybe getting a tray or a piece of ply that would just behave like a counter would, so that things would be level. And because that seat from the door to where the seat ends is about 24 inches. That's a good amount of space, and the butane stove is only about 13 inches wide, so there's a lot of room to still be able to organize what you're going to prepare, and cut it up without it interfering with the space where your stove and your cooking would be happening. So that's something that would be improved, maybe getting that piece of ply and just having it just discreetly somewhere, and maybe a water dispenser. We have water bottles that we brought, but if we were to be cooking, just opening individual water bottles would be, I think, annoying. So having some kind of a water dispenser system for when we are set up, because we were in the setup at the parking spot, but we would be on a camping spot So we would need to have water where, you know, we're dispensing and whatever. Um, I've had those things in the past. A water dispenser I didn't have for our setup last night. So that would be something to have available if we're going to do this at a ground next time, and we would have, you know, plans for our meals. It would just make it more convenient for us, you know, some kind of water dispensing system, a catchment system for our wastewater, and those things I think are very possible to acquire at places like maybe Walmart, and maybe online, you know. So I will look out for those things, because I don't think that this would be ready for a permanent setup because of the age of the vehicle and all of that. For, you know, I think that I would like the idea of having something that's removable. Why is, you know, it's not just a camping vehicle. It's used to still transport my, you know, things for business. As you know, I do marketing. I also do personal service, where I specialize in locks and natural hair care, like braids and things like that. So I'm trying to still have my vehicle be able to do all those things, and I take my kids to, you know, sports and little events and have friends and whatever. So I wouldn't want to have those things always in, you know, the vehicle or in setup mode where it takes up seating space, because it's not just a camper. Even though I want to try to use it to do that, I still want to have it be used for when Monday comes and it's a work week, that I'm able to still function and have, you know, all my marketing supplies with me, and it doesn't interfere with or get interrupted with, because I have, you know, all this camp, you know, things that can't be moved. So, you know, if you're thinking about that and you're using your personal vehicle, see how you're able to have the adventure of a lifetime with all the practical things you need in your van. But after the weekend or after your trip is over, that you're easily able to convert it back to your everyday use vehicle without a lot of strain. Like me personally right now, I want it to be easy for me. I want to be able to enjoy it, but I want it to be easy for me to convert, because I'm going through, you know, chemo treatment right now, and, you know, I wouldn't want to create something that's going to overexert myself in setting up or taking down. As much as I have, you know, the kids, it's like their timing and my timing is not the same. So I want something that's going to be manageable for me to do from start to end. And that's why I need it to be convenient, practical, and easy to do. So I'm going to show you right now the back. I'm parked in a plaza right now because I have plans to go take my car to go take a look at it. So there's a car place just over. Okay. So this is the front. Okay, so after we've parked, the front really doesn't make any, it's not usable by us, so really. So I had brought, all the videos I saw talked about ventilation being important. So we had our windows cracked. This fan is a USB fan that is from Walmart, and it was about probably $15-20. I can't remember, maybe not that much. But this fan, you can charge it, okay? Fully charge this fan, and it will run on, it has 3 speeds. It will run most of the night, I think, if not all the night, depending on when you go to sleep, and on the one charge. But if it runs out and you still need the fan running, this is the mini jumper I spoke about. I've always had these for my phone because, like I said, you know, I do marketing, so I could be in the office or I could be on the road. So these I've always had for my phones, and they can be used for the fan too, but I wanted the fan or whatever use I need electricity for in a camp setup, that it didn't interfere with the phone. Because what if my phone, right, was dead and needed to be charged? I didn't really want to mess with that. So I invested in a 12-volt surge that I told you about, which has the 2 plugs and the 2 USB. And this is the jumper I picked up. It is not new, but it looks very clean. So this one now, once it's charged, I used this extension last night. I disconnected it now, but I strung this to the back, just along the holders in the ceiling, so that if she needed to plug her phone in, if it had died, she would be able to use it. And she never needed to, because her phone, she has an iPhone, and it was already fully charged when she came in, so she never needed to do that. So, you know, I watched so many videos, and I was just trying to just take bits and pieces from different people's experience, because I'm like, okay, that's something that I may need to do. That's something that I may need to do. But the long and the short of it is, sometimes we take things that we really don't need. So here we are. Remember the creative curtain setup I told you about? So I use these shower hooks, and this is how I was able to create the privacy for the back. And I was telling you about the color, the beige that is on the leather seats. This is a green, but it's not that far off, so it kind of blends in. I like it, and it's not too dark. The van does have some black in it, so I didn't want it to be black curtains necessarily. Even if I had black on the outside because of light, I would like the inside to be light in color. So it hooked into here, which is, you know, where the seat belts thing is, right? I had many tries, and so it kind of scraped up the fabric, pulling it back and forth. But these, I think, are easily repairable. I like the idea that it's not permanent, and I could take it down by myself very easily. So you just move it away, and she was able to crawl from here to here. Now this was where I had my setup. I've disassembled it because she needed to come out so that she could go home. And so this seat was up, right? The seat was up, the back was up, and that created the privacy, and this was in the middle. And as I was telling you is that it was let me do it for you. It was a little bit high in the middle because of this 8th seat. Pardon me, I had to just free my hand. So this was what I did for my spot. So you see the 8th seat is a little slightly higher. Also, it's also shorter too. But if I had a cooler thing, I could use that for my leg, and then maybe, I don't know, something to give more distance, because this, as you can see, is space. This seat comes this far forward and backward, where this goes in a little bit. So this is unsupported area that my body could use in sleep mode, and this is about 24 or close to 24 inches wide. So I'm missing, what do you think, maybe 7 inches? Anyway, these are my bedding. So my pillow, I mean, I've packed everything away right now, and my spread that I had put over the seat. I didn't have any cushioning for my seatbelt hooky things, but it was okay. It worked out. Like I said, for the one night we were testing what would work. But look from the front view. Yeah, I didn't use the reflectors that many videos showed that we should do, but I wanted us both to be in our own space as comfortable as we could be. You know, we couldn't have a big bed, but at least we could be cool, and you know, we could feel cozy. So so she crawled into the back. I want to just move this so you can see. Sorry, pardon me. Okay, so this little pathway, she crawled in from the front to the back, and I told you, brought bedding that would remind her of home because she's so bougie. So this comforter gave her nice padding. She had just a regular sheet. She brought a pillow from home of her own, so because I guess she likes to be higher up, and it worked out for her. And this is the trash can I told you about that I had in my car anyways, just for my own use, and she never used it, but we put the bags in, and the bag did her she didn't have to use it, but the bag would be what her stuff would go in, tie it up and put it out. These are carpets from home. We wanted to have it feel not vanny, and it worked, but it's too big. So this is about 6 feet by something, and we folded it up, but it's too big. So you see it's already not as flat. This one is like just a runner. Again, you know, guys, use what you already have at home. Things that you have not used in a while that could be used in here, do that before you go and buy. And if you feel that doesn't work because of the color, like this wouldn't be long term because it's kind of dark. This one as well, maybe not so much because it has some beige in it, but work with what you have, you know. This fan was for my girlfriend, and there's a little mini speaker next to it, right? If she wanted to use her fan. And these are held up with the same shower hooks. This fan is not like the front fan that I have, the black one. This one has to be, it's a USB plug, and it has to be plugged in to be in use. It's not one that can be charged up and run on its own, disconnected from power. This is a little phone holder if she wanted to watch something. Like, I was thinking about, you know, the things that she would normally do. It's a girlfriend for over 25 years, so being my guest for this night, I wanted to be as, you know, entertaining and as, you know, host like as you would any other time. She had opened this pin so she could see outside, and so that pin just kind of helps to keep things up. But these are very easy to take down, so I did this myself, just, you know, cutting with a scissors. It's not perfect, as you can see, and using these pins. They're larger, so, and they're stronger, so they can keep the weight of the, you see the drape is not too heavy, but it's just enough. So the color kind of works, you know. I like that, but it's rough, you know. This is something that can be like maybe, you know, sewed up so it's nicer. But again, you know, for this quick rough use, this was extra and it worked. You know, we all had our water and extra water, extra emergency water that was brought. This is the tray I was telling you that comes with, because I've dropped her off, I've not gone, but this is a tray that comes with this vehicle, and it goes under the front passenger side. And these are the 2 bags I mentioned. I peed twice in that one, tied it off, and in that one, and tied it off. I put baking soda powder in the bag before. I don't remember which video I had seen on YouTube where they did that, just to, you know, for smell control, because, you know, I don't smell any pee, but this is gonna be dumped. So I put that in there, and we have just emergency water, right, if we need it for anyone. So for the first video, I hope that I gave you something that could work for you also, just like so many people with their videos gave me a lot of tools and ideas and nuggets to make this, you know, a successful first night. And I absolutely will do this again. I said on the weekends. It may not be a Friday, so, you know, like I did this Friday, and, you know, showing you this video right away. So it will be the weekend, because that's the time that's more doable, and then the video would go up that following week. Maybe not the Saturday, like I said, maybe not the next day, like I've done it so quickly today, but just know that I'm gonna try to do a video at least in that week, or do a video on the week and have it for you at least that week. So I'm going to let you finish watching the video. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe. This is new for me. This is well, this setup is new for me. Camping is not new for me. I like it. I like the freedom it gives. I like the fact that you can take a break and not have to spend a large amount. Canada has so many great regional parks, camp sites. They're not very expensive. $47 to $54 for a family of 4 to spend one night is peanuts compared to a hotel, and you get outdoor adventure. You know, they have facilities like washroom, pools, you know, some have basketball courts, you know, some have a river running through. There's just so many available. I've been to Long Beach, close to Niagara. I've been to, you know, Albion Hills. I've been to Leisure Time. I've been to Indian Line. And these are all within the GTA. And I've been to other places too. You know, camping has been in my life since I came to this country at age 15. I'm now 46. I was in Girl Guides. I was a Girl Guide leader, so I knew what this kind of break feels like, you know. And in Girl Guides, we camped every season. Winter camping, you know, we went to Muskoka. We did the snowshoeing in the winter. Summer camping, you know, so we've done it. So I had a taste of it earlier on in life. I did go McCrae Lake when I was in high school for our phys ed class. And, you know, we had to dig a hole and pee in it. And where we went, they had black flies in the day, and at night there was garden snakes. And so my camp buddy, my tent buddy for high school with that trip, we were like, we're not going outside to pee at night. So we were like peeing in bags because we were like so afraid to go out and, you know, garden snakes. We didn't understand because we were fairly new to this country, and it was like, snakes? We don't care what kind of snakes it is. It's going to swallow me up. But that wasn't the case. So I'm glad I had those early experiences, because right now I know how to find joy. I know how to find joy solo. I know how to find joy that I am also able to share with someone. So thanks again to those that have shared their solo joy with me, that I'm able to now pass on to someone else and continue to enjoy on my own. As I'm on this journey, this treatment journey, I want to make every day count. I want to be living my best life, obviously. Living my best life. And so this is an opportunity to do so. And I truly hope that I'll see you for the next video. Please, again, comment, share, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you would like to see. Let me know what you'd like me to explain a little bit more with this first setup. And I could share it with you. There are some things that I may not have used in this van setup that I may have used in the past during, you know, camping using the tent or RV or trailer. Some of the rules that maybe these campsites have. Let me know what I can help you with in terms of knowledge for your next adventure, and I'll be glad to share with you. Stay safe and stay blessed. Till next time.